Whoa, yeah. This movie goes for over 2 hours, so I'm gonna skip some plot points. Please don't kill me for that. Okay, thank you. Yippee! This movie is about a woman named Lily Blossom Bloom. Yes. This isn't the first instance of the movie lampshading the most ridiculous plot points. Get ready for that. This movie starts with her visiting a hometown for her father's funeral where she needs to deliver a eulogy. She can't think of 5 good things to say about him. She has like this little scrap piece of paper and then she dips out. She says sorry no, sorry bye, and she's gone.
In fact, I have to go. But I have to go. I have to go.
And then to show her going back to Boston, it pans over a cityscape in one of the most inspired pieces of directing I think I may have ever witnessed. Panning over a cityscape to show that you've gone to another place. So you're in the country, right? Or the suburbs. And now you're in the city. How are you going to show that? A cityscape. Duh! This isn't the only cityscape in this movie. There's a lot more. I might even count them, and I'll let you guys know just how many cityscapes are in this movie. So she goes back home to Boston. She's just chilling on the roof of a random building. Then we see this outfit.
Oh my god!
I don't even know what to say about this. This is truly the most jumpsuit of all time. Of all time. Have you ever seen a jumpsuit more jumpsuit than this jumpsuit? No, you haven't. Moving on. So this is where she meets Ryle Kincaid. And I know what you're thinking. What the is that name? This guy has a name so YA that I was surprised that he wasn't a werewolf. I was surprised we didn't get halfway through this movie and bro went aru with little werewolf claws or paws. I don't know. I was shocked, truly, because I don't know. Maybe I just missed Jacob from Twilight. Everyone's favorite character. Anyways, when looking at this movie, you can notice the subtle pieces of directing. In this scene, you may notice a subtle detail that Ryle isn't in a good mood. It's really subtle, like you really have to look for it. Anyways, this leads to one of the cutest meet cutes for such a charming romantic comedy like this one. We're all dressed up in our florals, we grabbed our girlies to watch this super cute... Now, where is this? Oh yeah, abuse movie. Okay. Love these glasses. They begin conversing and in this really believable plot twist, just amazing writing. He's a wealthy neurosurgeon. At this point, I'm like, wait, how old is she? Because he's a neurosurgeon and this is clearly her main love interest. Like, so in the movie, I'm not gonna lie, she kind of looks older than him, right? But in the books, when I read that, I was like, how old is this man? A neurosurgeon, you say? One that's practicing? Studying alone takes up like 8 to 10 years of your life. And then you gotta go into residency, and then you gotta qualify, and then you gotta specialize. How old is this man? And better yet, how old is Lily? Probably the most successful lampshading attempt I've ever seen, except for like before. So in the most healthy way to start a relationship, they quickly start trauma dumping. But it's like in a cutesy way with their naked truths. What does that entail? And then the movie shows in a really subtle way that Ryle is attracted to Lily. I kind of feel like the movie wasn't explicit enough here. I was still left questioning, is he attracted to her? I don't know. Now that that's out of the way, Ryle gets a call for an emergency brain surgery because he's a neurosurgeon. And then to break up the scenes, we have another cityscape. So Lily goes home and we have a small flashback where she meets her main love interest. His name is Atlas. By the way, he looks completely different than what I imagined in my head from reading the book. But anyways, so once she meets Atlas, we get another cityscape. Another one. So now we go to Lily's flower shop that she's renovating in probably one of the most flattering outfits ever. Wait, is that Scott from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend? Anyway, Lily Blossom Bloom is opening a flower shop. Very normal, very not YA activities. This is probably the biggest piece of personality that we get from her, other than her Ellen DeGeneres obsession, drawing on occasion, and her endless childhood trauma. And it leaves viewers having questions. Did she go to uni? Does she have other friends? What does she do for fun on weekends? Does she hate or love chocolate mint ice cream?
Hollywood stars and celebrities. What do they know? Do they know things? Let's find out.
Normal stuff people usually want to know about a character.
Sure, Jan.
So Alyssa, a bored rich housewife, walks into the flower shop and just casually offers to work for Lily. And Lily's like, yeah, okay, why not? And this was like the most believable business e-commerce financial institution industry professional interaction I've ever seen. Very commerce, very business. A lot of business is going on here. And then, in yet another plot twist, Alyssa is actually Ryle's sister. So he walks in with a onesie, which is somehow more fashionable than whatever Lily is wearing right now. Then they go out, and when the flower shop opens, he's the first customer. She's wearing a really cutesy outfit here. Like really cutesy. And then, boom! Cityscape again. So later at Alyssa's birthday party, Ryle lets Lily know that he likes her in probably the most middle school interaction I have ever seen. Girl, please stop with the camo. Please. She really needs to quit the camo. I know it's addictive, girl. There's help out there. Quit the camo. So they go back up to his room and they start kissing. And then Lily tells him no before they can go further. She says this is because Ryle is only showing interest in like physical relations rather than a serious relationship. And then they promptly undress and go to bed, which includes removing the sweaty fishnet sock boot combo that I know must have stank up that room. I bet his eyes were tearing up from the smell. So Lily spends the night in his apartment in what was probably the worst sleep ever, in fishnets with PJs on top of them. She has pajamas on top of the fishnets. And then the next morning, he's like, date me, because his sister's like, he's playing you, hun. He's playing you. He don't want no relationship. You want a relationship. And then he's like, no, I'm not playing her. Date me now. Date me now, Sabrina. Lily. While they're speedrunning this relationship, Lily introduces Ryle to her mother at the new popular restaurant named Root. So if you're Australian, you'll hear this name and probably have a little giggle, as this is a term to reference adult fornication. Scandalous. And then, in yet another plot twist, the restaurant owner and chef is her lover from high school, Atlas. And now we get another cityscape. Then at a bar, it's revealed that Alyssa is preggo. And this is where the movie starts to go into more of like a thriller rather than a romance, which I'm not gonna lie was like super odd. We're like an hour into this movie. The tone shift from like a light comedic with hits of drama then to like a straight up thriller was jarring. And I really think that could have been done a lot better, especially after over an hour, which is almost half of the movie, by the way, building up their romance. You can really feel the movie dragging on with like a lot of the romance scenes, and it just takes up way too much time. I understand the hesitance to cut plot lines from the book, especially from a literary genius like Colleen Hoover, but somehow I feel like the movie could have survived cutting from its 130-minute runtime. We're going to be mentioning some serious stuff here. I won't show any of the scenes of the abuse that's happening, but I will be mentioning them. So Ryle's cooking breakfast for Lily and he burns his hand and he hits her, which is probably one of the few things the movie does semi-well, because it's shown like an accident, like a reflex from like burning your hand, but this is just from Lily's perspective, and it's later revealed that that was on purpose, and this is like a separate reaction to the hand burning. Burn the hand and then separate action. I think maybe the movie could have included more red flags along the way to show like the slow escalation, how that's common in a lot of these types of relationships. However, none of these situations are like exactly the same, so it makes sense from Lily's perspective that the red flags may be portrayed differently to how they really occurred, especially since she said in the least on the nose line ever that she is an unreliable narrator. So an argument could be made for this pacing being used to show the perspective of Lily. So this is like basically how the perfect love story in her head deteriorates without warning. I feel like this was not conveyed super effectively. It's kind of just like it does kind of come out of nowhere. There are a few questionable lines where she's like, no, and he's like, yes, and she's like, no. that was kind of dodgy. Red flag.
Stop, you have to stop this, please. What? They're just, staring at me. I'm just looking. Okay, you're just looking. Stop showing up at my flower shop and sending me flowers. Stop walking through this party, following me around.
You just shut up for 1 second.
But I feel like there could have been more of a slow escalation as how it is, where he's like slowly upping the ante. Later, Lily takes Ryle, Alyssa, and Marshall, which is Alyssa's husband, to go to Root, the restaurant, not the act. She's not taking them for a root. Just going to the restaurant. Get your mind out the gutter. Then Atlas notices Lily's bruised eye and Ryle's bandaged hand and confronts her when she has to go piss girl. And then he's like, you need to leave him. He's trash, darling. He's trash. I feel like Atlas being the one to discover this feels so cliche. I guess it makes sense plot-wise for it to be Atlas because like without a romantic lead to root for, the movie is just incredibly depressing. Oh no, it still is. It's definitely bordering on misery this point with how much the movie wanted me to cry, and I could feel it wanting me to cry, just like having kind of a cutesy rom-com and then just sad. It was intense. This is like especially in the second half of the movie. So instead of shining a light on an important issue, it feels more like the writers are kind of like exploiting this emotionally charged situation to make people care about their awful writing. After Ryle finds Lily and Atlas together in the restaurant, he assumes the worst is happening, and then he gets super riled up, pun not intended, and then they start throwing punches at each other. And this ends with Ryle getting kicked out of the restaurant. Because if you punch a restaurant's owner, they're probably gonna kick you out. So then we get another flashback to Lily and Atlas together. And this is after the first time they slept together. Her dad finds them and beats the daylights out of Atlas. She never sees him again until now. So in the present, Atlas visits Lily to her shop and apologizes and give her his phone number. This is like a few months afterwards, by the way.
Several months later.
Lily lets Ryle know that Atlas's actions were probably due to her past with her abusive father, and Ryle is understanding and apologizes to her for what happened at the restaurant. Oh goody. Another cityscape. Oh wait, no, that's a bridge. Some progression at least. So Alyssa then gives birth to her daughter, and Ryle swiftly swoops in, steals the moment, and proposes to Lily. If I had just spent hours pushing a child out of me, and I don't even get a few minutes to myself to relax before a proposal happens in front of me, I would flip my shit. But that's just me. So she accepts the proposal, and in the literal next scene, marriage. The literal next scene is them getting married. The pacing of this movie confuses me so much, I swear. They spend so much time on the most random things, and then boom, marriage. 1 second marriage. Back at their apartment, Ryle is snooping through Lily's phone and finds Atlas's number. He storms out of the apartment, and then they continue arguing on the stairwell where he pushes her. She wakes up later on in his care, and he claims that she fell and he tried to catch her. She accepts this, but she seems suspicious. Moving on, Lily's flower shop is featured in a local magazine alongside Atlas's restaurant, where he talks about how the restaurant was named in Lily's honor. Yay! Another cityscape! No bridge this time. So when Ryle sees the magazine and realizes her heart tattoo is in reference to something Atlas made for her, Ryle tries to get her to prove she loves him, attempts to R-word her and bites into her tattoo trying to rip it off. We get a montage of all the times he hurt her, shown how they really happened, not as accidents as they were shown the first time. Lily escapes and she seeks help from Atlas at his restaurant, where he takes her to go to the hospital. I do kind of think it's really cliche that the only person she feels she can go to after her current man sucks is another potential romantic interest. I feel like we need to give this woman friends. Surely she would have made some friends in college or something, and we could at least have some like insight into how abusers commonly isolate you from friends and family. But to be fair, with the character development how it is, the characters could easily be replaceable with cardboard cutouts of themselves. Maybe it's best Colleen didn't include any other characters, in case the current character's one-sidedness wasn't thin enough. In the hospital, it's discovered that she is pregnant, and she decides to stay with Atlas for a few days to recover. The movie then goes to a montage of Lily's trauma with sad music playing, which then jumps to a panning over a cityscape. This directing is so inspired, I actually can't. It's so inspired. So while Lily is staying with Atlas, he tells her that he loves her, which was amazing timing. Great job with that. Make this about you, but anyways. And then there's another, wait for it, tree! Oh, and also a cityscape. Lily opens up to Alyssa about Ryle's abuse of her, and Alyssa promptly makes Lily feel like absolute shit. by saying Ryle has been broken since he was a child and that Lily was the only thing that made him feel better. I'm sure that felt awful to hear after you've just told your best friend how you're being abused. She also tells Lily about Ryle's childhood trauma, where he accidentally shot and killed his brother, not realizing that a toy gun he had was real. In a redeeming moment, this random tangent that only makes Lily feel worse, Alyssa tells Lily she will never talk to her again if she takes Ryle back. Great job for that one, Alyssa. Didn't need the other stuff, but we got there in the end. I'll take it. So Lily moves out of their shared place together, and after Lily moves out, My Tears Ricochet by Taylor Swift plays, which caused multiple people in my theater to actually scream. This was probably the most enthusiastic reaction from the entire movie. Like everyone else, the entire movie, they were like on their phones, doing fidgeting, and then we get a Taylor Swift song, screaming, immediate screaming. You know what? Fair enough. That was probably the most engaging part of this movie. So My Tears Ricochet was paired with some inspiring cinematography where there's a montage of Lily doing stuff. So Ryle begs her to come back, promising it will be better and it'll never happen again, and he'll seek therapy. She doesn't respond and implies that he should leave. After possibly the easiest birth on this planet, Lily names her daughter after Ryle's dead brother Emerson and calls her daughter Emmy. She tells Ryle that she wants a divorce, and he begrudgingly accepts after she gets him to realize his hypocrisy in wanting her to stay with him, citing what he would do if their daughter's boyfriend was doing to their daughter what he is doing to her. What would he do in that situation? And obviously he's like, I would beg her to leave. And then she quotes the titular line from the movie, telling the daughter it ends with us, obviously referring to the cycle of abuse in this case. Oceanscape time. Loving the character development of the director here. Movie jumps to the future and shows Lily at her father's grave, where she leaves the blank eulogy speech that she had from earlier in the movie about character development on the whole cityscape thing. Never mind! So when she's at the farmer's market, she runs into Atlas and they greet each other. And you know what? I don't even hate this outfit. I'm just gonna put it out there. I don't hate this one. I don't like it, but I don't hate it. And in an ending which kind of irked me a little bit, because I guess you can't call this a romance movie if the only romantic partner she has is abusive and awful, unless of course it's a stereotypical YA movie adaptation or TV show. The characters in this movie were also incredibly unconvincing and just boring. It feels like a lot of the plot just happens to the character rather than them having any agency of their own or doing things or making choices of their own. I can definitely say that this was the most movie of all time. I will give this movie 2.5 cityscapes out of a total 10 shown in this movie. 10 scenes of cityscapes, amounting to a total of a whole minute of this movie. Thank God it ended.
Wow.